Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie and welcome back to my Days of December preparation. This is video 2. I will link video 1 down in the description box below. And I'm also working with the creative design team and we also have a playlist. But I'm going to pop in hopefully every week and kind of touch base with you guys and show you where I'm at in this project. Now the first thing is I got my album, so I will be documenting my Days of December in a 6x8 album. So let's get this guy open because I already have 2 foundation pages. So this is the album that I will be using, and I'll probably do a heat transfer on the cover, but for now I'm not sure what I want to do with the cover, so I'm going to leave it blank. And I kind of moved my stuff into just a storage box. And I've seen tons of videos where people go through all of their organization. And I think that that is key because you kind of want to keep it simple, but you also want to have options. So here are my 2 foundation pages, or 3, I should say, that I did in my first video. So you've got page 1, page 2, and 3. None of these are glued down because I'm not sure if those are going to be my pages. So let me put these in my album right here because I think that this is going to be a really good place to keep them and not lose track of them. So there we go. Feeling accomplished already. I have 3 pages in here. Now I did create those pages with this awesome sketchbook right here. And that is a really good place to start. It was taking the guesswork out of the foundation pages, and I'm going to show you 2 other foundation pages out of this book. And I'm going to do the ones on page 17. So I'm going to do these 2 layouts right here. And for those 2 layouts, they were on page, and I'll get back to the calendar in a minute. Those 2 were these ones right here on page 12. So if you're following along and you've got this book, my first 2 foundation pages can be found on page 12, and then these next 2 can be found on page 17. Now stay tuned for next week's video where I talk about the daily prompts and tracking the calendar, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to document something every day in December and stay true to those numbers. My brain is working overtime definitely on this one, but let me show you a few tips and tricks on how I'm keeping myself semi-organized. So I do have some embellishments. These are in little bags, and I can tell you right now that when I go through my box, these are in the way. So I'll probably put them in another container. And if you watch the first video, I started off my numbers with this stamp set right here. And then since I'm working on this project with a few of my friends, Janice showed us how she was using the Moxie alphabet, and I kind of fell in love with it. And I was reneging on my first decision, which was to try and keep it simple and keep all the numbers the same. Well, that's out the door. So let me show you what I'm going to do now. For my numbers, I'm going to give myself some options. I've got a little box here, and every time I cut a number, I just throw it in here. Okay, so this little box here has a whole bunch of numbers, and I've got small ones, I've got little ones, and I went ahead and I cut these really nice big ones here out of the glitter paper, and I thought that they were really cool. And then I made sure that when I cut them, I actually cut them so that I could keep the negative part. So see here, I've got the negative part. I've actually assembled this one because I wanted to keep the center. And this is another option, definitely, that can be used. The reason why I went down this rabbit hole is that when I got to sketch number 4, or page number 4 at this point, this was a little bit big. I felt that it was big and I needed an option. So I went and I cut a few of these. And you'll see when I start assembling my foundation pages. And then I cut a few of these because they were so pretty. So what I do is that I'm not getting ahead of myself too much, but what I do is that I try and do like a few numbers. So I did a few numbers because I'm embossing these. I'll just run them through my die cutting machine because this set does come with its very own die cut. So that is really good. I thought, okay, I'm going to give myself some options, but I'm not going to go overboard. But I am keeping everything in here, and you'll notice that I have these little sprigs because also when I die cut, I'm just die cutting a few of these images, and we'll see where it takes us because this little box I think is going to get a little bit full by the time I get to the end of December. So what I'm trying to do is work with one pattern paper pack, which comes with stickers, and all the cut pieces are right on top. So when I go to my next foundation page, I always look at the top first, and then all my solid pieces or my full sheets are here at the bottom. I've got some cardstock in here, and I also brought in some of the mix-in papers. So I haven't even cut into these, so that's why they're all the way at the back of this box. So here are my next foundation pages that I want to work on, and these are based on those sketches on page 17. And if you remember in my first video, I definitely wanted to bring in some of that red, and this here was already cut into to create my other pages. And I think I'm going to be brave and go in and take some of these stickers. Now, definitely when I saw this and I saw the black and the nice big pictures and Deck the Halls, I think that sticker is going to look really, really good here. I finally found a nice Christmas, welcome Christmas to go in my foyer. And I'm going to document that because I've been looking for one for years. I've got the Deck the Hall sticker right here that's going to work. And then on this page right here, I'm going to dive in and use those really pretty poinsettias, and I'm going to add those here. I'm not sure if I'm going to dive into the smaller layouts right here, but for today, let's put these pages together and see how they turn out. Okay, so let's put this foundation page together. So I'm starting with a mink background. And I'm just going to add these papers here. So again, this was already cut into from my previous pages, and I'll show you those at the end. I'm just going to add this right here at the bottom. Okay, so that's the beginning of a pretty simple foundation page. And I don't know if you remember, but I did mention that I'm going to bring quite a bit of glitter. Now, I did audition a few colors. And I was thinking of gold because I've got my gold numbers, but didn't like that too much. The red was not great against the red, so we're going to go with black. Although I do want to keep these nice and light, I think that the black is going to look really, really good. Okay, so I'm liking the way that this is looking. It's very nice. And then I just have to add my photos, one here and one here at the top. And these can slightly overlap. So I'm not going to tack these down, or actually, you know what? I think I am. I'm just going to leave them like that. And I'm going to bring in my stickers. And yes, I'm diving into them. Okay, so after fussing around with my number 4s and trying to come up with options for this particular sketch, I did a few. I did like a backing of this larger number 4. That was the original one that I started with on my previous video. And then I knew that I was going to have a smaller flower here, so that these were definitely too big, and I thought it was too small. And then it literally just fell here at the bottom. And I think that it looks really, really good. So here's another foundation page. Those are ready to go. These are tacked down. This is not, because it may not end up being page number 4. But let's go to page number 5 and see how that one turns out. Okay, so for page number 5, and I'm just saying number 5, just so that I can keep track of the pages that I'm creating. but it's going to be whatever page it ends up being. So this one again is from the sketchbook on page 17. And this one here, I did modify it a little bit. It had a few different pieces of pattern paper, and because of the pattern paper colors I was using, I felt that this looked actually really, really good. Now, I could leave this just as mink, but I kind of like the softness of this one right here. I'm going to add the red because I definitely wanted to do some red pages. And this here again is the branding strip that's going to go right like so. So I've got a large photo that goes on this sketch, and then I have a little one. Not sure what that's going to look like, but I just matted that using black cardstock. And the dilemma of the numbers is going to come up again. But before I do that, when I saw these colors, and we talked about that new decoration that I have in my front hallway, I thought this is going to look really great on this page. So I'm definitely going to commit to that. But then I'm left with, okay, what kind of number do I pair this up with? Definitely this is not going to work with this circle. I'm going to audition a few and we'll see how this turned out. Okay, so for this sketch right here, as you can see, I've auditioned lots of number 5s to see how it's going to work. So for my foundation pages, what I'm trying to do is just create some sort of balance between the photo placement, the number, and, just the background. So this sketch was calling for a small 2x2 photo and some sort of embellishment here at the bottom. But because this one here is so bold, it was it didn't look balanced to me, like this square and this really big circle. So I thought, okay, why am I overthinking this? I am going to move my title right here, which is going to replace the photo placement. And I'm going to add a nice big number 5 right here. And I think that that's got a really nice balance. And for this particular layout, I actually can envision the picture that's going to go in here because it's a picture of a vertical sign. So I think that it's going to look really, really good. So I think I'm going to keep it this simple for now and then move on, because otherwise I just get lost into all these decisions that are really going to come together once the picture is on this page. So I'm going to adhere this down, and then I'll show you the completed pages up until today. Okay, so this is the completion of this page, and yes, I did add a little bit of embellishments right up here. It added some sprigs, and I really like these red gems. I find that it makes the page pop. I'm not going to glue down my number 5 right here because I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be on day 5 or the 5th story in my book, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's do a little bit of a recap here. Let's bring on the first page we did together, and you can tell that these are from the same collection. And if you look here, you can tell right away that if I put them in my book, I'm actually probably going to put them something like this, because I've got this here, and then my number 5 all of a sudden looks better up here or somewhere here. So you can tell that I'll probably have to move some things around when I'm putting them into the book, but for now I'm quite happy on how this turned out. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 more pages to my Days of December book. So these were the ones that I did in my previous video, and I will link that down below and at the end right here. So you've got this page here, you've got 2 pages here that I still need to work on, but I'm quite happy to put these 2 in here, and I'm going to continue on next week and show you my progress. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you'd like to see the previous video, I'm going to link it right here. Have yourself a fantastic day, and bye for now.